Hi, this is Glenda. I just wanted to get this quick video in before I disappear for a bit, because we've decided to rearrange 3 of our rooms, and that means I'm going to end up with a bigger craft room, but of course in the meantime, while we shuffle things, I will be craft roomless, so craft withdrawal. Anyway, I wanted to get this in. I have continued playing with my scan and cut, and continuing with the struggle with the software. So I thought I'd share what I've been doing. I have also been doing some of the simpler things. I made the card that I showed using Bird's cut file, and I'll try and remember to put a link to her page. So I've made that up into a card and mounted it on Dark Card to show it off. And I did the congratulations with my scan and cut, but I must still be missing something because I couldn't get it to kern in the machine to join it together. I had to go back to the computer software, so I'll pursue that. I've only had the one go at the text, but it cut, fine text very well, and that was sort of thickish stock too. That's board for doing covers, and it's got a grain, and it's a very unfriendly thing for a cutter, but it did it. So there was that one. I also did this where I scanned in, this is multi-layered, and I stamped it all on one sheet with my different stamps. There's there's 4 for the flower, plus I did the leaves, and I put them all on one sheet, and I told it to do a direct cut, and it took me about 4 goes. It would sort of recognise 1 or 2, and then the next scan it would recognise a different 1 or 2, and I got it that way. But it did it, and it cut it really well around it. So it obviously is very finicky. Somebody did say you must have the lines joined or it won't cope, and I think that's a fair assessment, that it does like its lines joined. I don't know if you can see it, but I've also just done one of the standard flourishes in it perfectly. No hiccups, no dramas or anything with that. I should say on my swing cards I sort of rushed through that a bit, but the thing is, the mat is one of the standard shapes, so they just cut out, no drama. And the corner's also one of the standard shapes, and I was able to get it. I did mention that I got it out of that little tiny piece. So all of that's going very smoothly. That one, yes, I did the scallops straight from the machine as well. But my triumph this week is a pivot card. I'm very excited to have finally got this done. I've been wanting to do this style of card. It's not an easy thing to do if you don't have a die or a cutter of some sort, and it sure wasn't easy to get the scan and cut to make a file for it. Lots and lots of drama, but for what it's worth, I will give my file away that I've created, because I just love this. It's a standard size card, fits in a normal envelope, and yet it has this wonderful dimension for somebody to display it when they get it. So I think these are tremendous, and again, it's a standard shape out of the machine, so you can do your matting. I've also included that size mat in the file so that for one of them, but obviously you sized your mats any way you want, and the others were just stickers and cuts. So that's my pivot card. I'm so pleased with myself, aren't I? Awful. So for what it's worth, to coerce the machine to create this file, I had to create this shape in a paint program, then scan it in to the scan and cut, take it back out to the computer, do a fair bit of manipulation because it made about 10 layers of the same thing, and it's still not perfect. And the reason why is I've cut mine out, and when you peel it off, except of course this one hasn't cut well because I used a thicker card and didn't change my blade, did I? Normally when you lift it up, it's leaving all these little bits Anyway, what it's doing is a double cut. It's really, really, really close, so that on the card you can't really tell. But it's been leaving scrap on my sheet. There's a tiny bit there you can possibly see, but it's a lot more scrap than I would like. I mean, this one is going to punch, and I will be able to use it, but that is my bad for not changing the blade up. But yeah, it goes perfectly up until you film it. Anyway, you take the shape off your machine, and it will at that point still be flat, and you just put it on your scoring board, line up the center line on a line, score down it. Then when you fold it over, it's going to fold, and you just nurse this one into going the other direction, and it really does fold as simply as that. It's quite nifty. And if you've got any discrepancy here, you can just trim it down and make it whatever you like. But because this design has openings, the Scan and Cut software just freaks out. It cannot cope, it seems, with open shapes. So what it does is create a closed shape of this piece here and this piece here, and so it's made up of like 4 pieces. Then I decided to put this little bit across as well. So if anybody knows how to coerce the software into making this a single line instead of a double, I'd be really interested to know, because I have other software that will do it, but then I've got no way of getting the file back into the Scan and Cut because the software I've got that will do it won't save it as an SVG. And not all SVGs are uploading properly anyway. So this is as good as my file is going to get, and it does work for me. It just means cleaning my mat. And because it's got that double cut, it does actually stick less than if it was a really tight fit, because you've actually got that tiny little bit around it. If I put it against the black, hopefully it will show. So you've just got that tiny little bit right round. So that's my pivot card, and as I say, I will put the link to my file below this video. Oh, the other thing I did, out of this piece of paper, I said please cut me some butterflies, and you might see I've got butterflies. Then I put it back, scanned it back in, and I was able to make a little mat for my butterfly, but it cut all these out. I wouldn't say it was without hiccups, because this is not got as much contrast as it would like, but it did it, and it even cut some of these little stars out. So, you know, it's a love-hate relationship, it really is, but more love than hate. So, yep, if you'd like that file, please help yourself and have fun making pivot cards. Thanks for watching.